Hello again. 5 years ago today, Boris Johnson, the then Prime Minister, announced the first nationwide lockdown in Britain in order to prevent the COVID epidemic from spreading further. It did nothing of the kind, of course. The disease simply followed its natural course and eventually burned itself out, as it would have done with or without a lockdown. The purpose of the lockdown was less about tackling a virus, though, than it was about proving to the nation that their government was doing something. To that extent, it was a huge success. It was a classic example of what is sometimes known as the politician's syllogism or fallacy. It can be phrased in the form of a syllogism of the kind that we encounter in formal Aristotelian logic, as follows: we must do something, this is something, therefore we must do this. I rather suspect that the fallacy in the reasoning will be readily apparent to most viewers. It was not quite as obvious to the nation 5 years ago, of course, which is why most people were wildly enthusiastic about the novel idea of looking down the country. They were worried about the doomsday scenario of a deadly virus, which rumours said had escaped from a biological weapons research lab, and so were keen enough to try anything which would prevent Britain from ending up in a state reminiscent of the film 28 Days Later. After all they had to do really was stay indoors. It was surely worth giving it a try. Combined with the rules about wearing face masks on trains and in shops, and we no longer felt helpless in the face of this deadly peril. We were suddenly taking active measures to fight the worst threat to this country since the Second World War. All we needed to do, in addition to staying indoors and wearing face masks if we had to go out, was to stand on our doorstep in the evening and bang pots and pans together, as if we were trying to scare off evil spirits at a Chinese funeral. Older people, those of us who remembered previous pandemics, such as Hong Kong flu and Asian flu, suspected that it was all a lot of nonsense, but most of us just kept our mouths shut. This is why many old people didn't trouble themselves unduly about it all, unlike young people who were very gung-ho and keen on the novelty of a pandemic. This game went on for over a year, by which time a generation of school children had had their educations trashed and money had virtually been abolished. I doubt that this generation is likely to play that particular game again, for even the most die-hard enthusiast for lockdowns and face masks probably realises that the whole affair was something of a mare's nest. Indeed, an awful lot of people now talk as though they were sceptical about the whole thing at the time, but this is by and large untrue. It is only in retrospect that many people have expressed such views. At the time, most of them were as eager as could be to join in the game. As viewers who have watched this channel since 2020 will know, I never was a believer, for which reason I was of course suspended by YouTube at that time on the grounds of so-called medical misinformation.